Hi, my beautiful people. Welcome to my channel, Infinity Dove, Tarot and Dowsing. My name is Kirsten, and today I'm going to show you some dowsing. I'm going to show you how to work with a pendulum, in case you don't know how, because I do a lot of pendulum protocols on this channel, and I'd like for you guys to know how to work with your pendulum properly. So there's different types of pendulums, and I have so many, but I have four here to show to you. There's crystal pendulums. A lot of you have crystal pendulums, and they're beautiful, but they can be dangerous, and I'll tell you why in a minute. There's brass pendulums, different shapes, and these are called healing pendulums. They're usually a little bit more pricey, um, and they radiate certain colors of light for healing purposes. There's also wood pendulums that you can work with. Okay, let me show you an example of I wouldn't call this a healing pendulum. This is more of your basic pendulum that you can use to dowse for answers, but I wouldn't use it for healing or commanding. I would use one of these. Okay, so let me put these away. So let's talk about pendulums. They're not just for yes or no or cute answers. We're talking about you can use a pendulum to clear, to command, to work with charts. You can tune your pendulum to your wavelength. Um, and when you do, you can make it act very powerful, be a very useful tool for communicating with your higher self. All you have to do is be consistent and practice, and you'll get better at it. So, how to work with a pendulum? Let's talk about what dowsing is first. Dowsing works through something called the ideomotor response. And that's the tiny unconscious movements that your body makes in response to your thoughts, words, and feelings. So, like if you say money comes to me easily, there's going to be a movement that's made subconsciously that you don't even know about. And that's going to tell you whether or not you agree with that statement or not. The pendulum can tell you whether or not you agree with that statement. Money comes to me easily. Money comes to me easily. And for now, apparently, I believe that that is true. I've been doing some work on myself. All right. So dowsing works through the ideomotor response, the tiny unconscious movements that your body makes in response to your thoughts, your words, and your feelings. Those subtle responses are your subconscious mind speaking to you through the pendulum, and we can actually see and measure this. And I just gave you an example of that. Because the subconscious is directly connected to your higher self, imagine a mother and a baby. When the baby cries, the mother immediately takes care of the baby's needs. And that's how your higher self works with your subconscious. When your subconscious makes a plea or sends a belief, whatever that may be, good or bad, the higher self will carry it out immediately to give the like energy back to the baby that it's asking for. The pendulum, in a sense, becomes a bridge, and it shows you what your subconscious is holding and what it believes and what it's ready to release. By shifting those thoughts and beliefs, you can send a new signal to your higher self, and your higher self will act on it, creating a real change in your reality. So before anything else, we want to clear our pendulum, especially if you're working with a crystal pendulum. The reason why is that crystals absorb a lot of energy, and it doesn't naturally cleanse itself. Some healing pendulums actually self-clean. Crystal pendulums do not, and they need to be cleansed before every session. So you want to check your pendulum, whether you have a crystal pendulum or not, and you want to hold it over your chart, if you have a chart, um, and you want to, well, yeah, let's clear the pendulum first. I'm thinking about the direction that I'm telling you, but let's clear your pendulum first. So you want to hold your pendulum over your chart if you have a chart. You can make a chart on a piece of paper and just um, put a yes on the left side and a no on the right. You can do a 50% down the middle. a 0 and 100% if you want to do something like that. And you can make your own custom chart. For instance, let me just give you an example. So this would be your 50%, this would be your 0, this would be your 100, this would be your yes, and this would be your no. And you can just make your own chart if you don't have one in front of you. So you want to hold your pendulum over your chart and you want to ask, is this pendulum clear and ready for use? And the pendulum is resting in this direction, and the direction is headed towards my no. So the pendulum is not clear and ready for use. If you have a percentage chart in front of you, you can ask what percentage is the pendulum clear and ready for this work. And this is telling me about 30%, maybe under 30%. So we're going to want to clear this pendulum. You clear by moving in a counterclockwise direction, and you remove energy that way. And you bring in, install, or replace energy by moving in the clockwise direction. So this pendulum is not clear, so we're going to want to clear it. We would say a command such as, and you can make up your own commands. This is my command, and you're welcome to use it. By command of my higher self, moving in the counterclockwise direction, I would say, by command of my higher self, I now clear and release all non-beneficial energy, interference, residual frequencies, attachments, or imprints from this pendulum. I detach them now and send them into the divine light to be fully transmuted. Restore this pendulum to pure alignment in my field. And it naturally came to a stop. Even though I was moving it, it came to its own stop. When it stopped, now I can take a regauge. Is this pendulum now clear and ready for use? And the pendulum is subtly moving in the yes direction, I can check and ask, is this pendulum clear and ready? What percentage is this pendulum clear and ready for use? And I'm getting 100% ready. So now we know that our pendulum is clear and we can work with it. And I highly advise you to follow this procedure if you're working with a crystal pendulum. Okay, next you want to find out, this is a lot of people don't talk about this, but this is very key to getting very definite, accurate answers with your pendulum. I wouldn't divine or ask an important question without doing this process first. What you want to do is you want to find your personal wavelength. This is your frequency on the position of the string or the chain of your pendulum. This is where your energy syncs best with the pendulum. So hold your pendulum at the very bottom of the chain, like so, with your thumb and your forefinger. Then slowly slide your thumb and forefinger up the chain and ask with your chart, is this my wavelength? It will either go to the yes or the no, or it will move in a circular fashion quite fast or strongly, and that will give you the indication that that is your wavelength. If it doesn't move, then gently ease up the chain and ask at each new position, is this my wavelength? Is this my wavelength? Is this my wavelength? Until the pendulum begins to move or go in the direction of a yes. Now I'm at my wavelength. For the rest of the session, I will keep my thumb and forefinger at this position. Before I go any further, I want to ask if my channel is clear and clean. So, am I working with my higher self? At my wavelength, I'm asking, am I working with my higher self? You can start the pendulum off with a circular motion, or you can just hold it still and ask the question and wait for it to move. As an advanced practitioner, I tend to start off the pendulum. And if you start getting unclear answers, make sure your feet are flat on the floor, take a deep breath and center yourself. And ask the question, am I working with my higher self? And I'm getting a yes. Then ask the question, am I connected to my spirit guides and allies? The pendulum will circle around and it's going to choose a yes or a no. Am I working with my spirit guides and allies? And I'm getting a yes. If I got a no, that would be okay. It would just mean that I need to clear my energy field. Moving in the counterclockwise position, I would say, higher self, I now clear all non-beneficial vibrations, interferences, cloaks, cords, and distortion from my energy field and surrounding space. I send all of it into the divine light to be transmuted now. And I would do this until the pendulum comes to a stop on its own, and then I would recheck, is my energy field now clear? I'm getting a yes. And I would go through the questions again. Am I working with my higher self? And I would do this until I get a yes. If I'm not working with my higher self, I don't want to do this work. You can work with disembodied spirits, and you want to avoid this at all costs. So once you know that you're working with your higher self and your spirit allies, now you can program your pendulum for a yes or no response. If you don't have a chart, and even if you do have a chart, you should always want to know what your pendulum's yes or no is. So what you want to do is you want to hold your pendulum still and calibrate your pendulum and ask it to show you its yes. Show me my yes. Show me my yes. And my yes is moving up and down. Usually most people, their yes will be up and down. And that's different from my yes on the chart. My yes on the chart was going to the left. So now I know when I'm not working with a chart that my yes is up and down. Then I can ask the pendulum to show me my no. It will circle and take on a new position. Show me my no. Show me my no. Now the pendulum is moving across. It's moving side to side. This is my no. So I have two yeses and I have two nos. I have one with a chart and one without a chart. So now we're getting to the good part. Now that you know your yes or no, now that you've got your wavelength, now that you've cleared your pendulum, you can start releasing stuck energy patterns and installing new vibrations into your field. For example, you can clear fear of rejection, like so. Moving in the counterclockwise direction, by command of my higher self, I remove all fear of rejection from my field across all timelines, layers, and dimensions. I fully release it now. I would let the pendulum spin until it comes to its natural stop. All right. And then once it stops, I would gauge. And to what degree has this fear now been cleared from my vibration? And it's saying 31 to 60%. So continue clearing in depth at all levels. Sometimes the first time doesn't clear everything. And has everything been cleared? And I'm getting a yes. Show me what percentage has been cleared. And I'm getting 100%. All right. Once you've cleared something, you want to install something in its place. The universe abhors the vacuum and will fill up that voided space with something that you're resonating to. So you want to resonate to something positive and command what it is you put in its place. So moving in the clockwise position, spin your pendulum and say, by command of my highest self, I activate the energy of divine confidence and install it into every level of my being now, installing it in to every level of my subconscious being now. All right, and has this been installed? And I'm getting a yes. To what percentage has this command been carried out? And I'm getting 100%. So that's how you can do commands with your pendulum. Now I would like to show you how to work with a pendulum chart. There are several kinds of charts, but I'll show you three examples here. There's the half moon chart. There's the circle chart. And this will serve as the other chart. There's a multi-ring chart. That could be a circle or it could be a half circle, and it would have different layers, different rings. Okay. So how do you work with these charts? You place your pendulum over the center point, and you ask your question clearly, like what percentage fear of rejection has been cleared from my vibration today? And the pendulum is moving towards the 100%. And that's how you work with a half circle chart. How you work with a circle chart would be first to ask, is the answer on the left or the right side of the chart? Bring your pendulum to a stop. Is the answer to my question on the left or right side of the chart? The pendulum will circle and choose a side. Now we know it's on the right side of the chart. So I would turn my chart to the right and imagine that this is a half circle and ask my question. Ask it to dowse ask my question and ask it to dowse the answer. And that would be my answer. Now, when you're working with a multi-ring chart, for instance, here we have 2 rings. My answer could be on the right side, but is it on the inside of the chart or on the outside? Is it the inner ring or is it the outer ring? So I would imagine that the word inner ring is here on the left side of this paper, and the word outer ring is here on the right side of the paper. I would hold my pendulum straight over the paper and ask, do I work with the inner ring or the outer ring? And it's saying outer ring. It's moving to the right. So now I know that I'm working with the right side of the chart and the outer ring. And when I dowse, I'm looking for the answer in the outer ring. So once you're tuned in and aligned, you can start asking real world questions now. You can start asking, like, when will such and such be out of office? Or is this person aligned with my highest good? Or should I move forward with this offer? And like I said, these are very important life changing questions, and you're going to want to be in a clear state before you address these questions with your pendulum. So if you have followed my instructions now, you're ready to ask these kind of questions. First, you would start off by saying, by command of my higher self, clear all fog and any confusion, distortion, or emotional charge around this situation or around my question so that I may receive pure truth. So clear any fog or confusion that could arise before you ask the question. We want accuracy, 100% accuracy. And then you would ask, is this video aligned with the collective's highest good? And it's already answering me, as you can see. It's circling, but I already know it's going to move to the yes. Is this video aligned with the collective's higher good? And I'm getting a yes. Should I move forward with this video? Should I move forward with this video? And it's saying yes. And I'm moving the pendulum now because it's just my habit. But if you're a beginner, you can hold it still. Is this the right time for me to take action to post this video? And it's saying yes. So you can ask questions like that. Don't rush, don't overread. Just take your time, practice, and trust what comes. The more you work with your pendulum, the more you will learn to trust your pendulum. And really, you're not trusting your pendulum, you're trusting your higher self. When you come to that awareness, when you come to that realization, then you realize all power is yours. There's nothing beyond you that you can't change. So, your pendulum is a translator. It's not a magician. Your accuracy depends on your alignment first with your higher self, and then practice. The more you tune in to your frequency, the stronger your attunement will become. So always clear your pendulum first, check for your wavelength, confirm that your higher self and spirit allies are present, and from there you can create massive shifts of change. If you want more information about pendulums or pendulum charts, You can contact me. My information is in the description box. If you're interested in printable pendulum protocols and dowsing charts, I have these spiritual tools available on my Etsy shop. It's Wing Seer at Etsy, WINGSEER. That's the shop name. So you'll see me doing dowsing live in my readings from time to time. So please check those out. And now that you know how to go about it, you can do it along with me, or you can order the protocol and do it yourself for your own self edification and in evolvement. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time and you're wanting to learn about dowsing. And I'm so happy that I could be the vessel that brought this information to you. Take care and be blessed.